The holiday table looked flawless enough to make a magazine blush. Candles flickering against crystal, silverware combed into straight rows, snow stippling the bay window like stagecraft. I smoothed my napkin and studied the polished reflections. A chorus of perfect faces that didn't feel like mine. Across from me, my mother, Margot, directed the meal with the same precision she used on our lives. Beside her, Charles carved the turkey. Tessa's engagement ring flashed whenever she reached for water, and at my elbow, Noah tried to make himself smaller than her scrutiny would allow. The performance hummed. The trap was velvet. "So," Margot said, a scalpel of a word, "still chasing stories for pennies, Ava?" I lifted my glass, buying time. Noah didn't. "She's been offered features editor. Portland," he said, squeezing my hand under the table. Margot's fork paused midair, storm quiet. "If you leave Vermont for this nonsense," she set the fork down, "don't come back. You're dead to me." The grandfather clock thundered into the silence. Tessa's fork clattered. Charles inspected his green beans as if they might save him. I felt the old buzzing in my ears and an even older certainty unclench. I folded my napkin, careful, deliberate, and placed it beside my plate. Then, "This is goodbye." The cold met me on the porch with an honesty our dining room never managed. Snow salted my hair. Noah followed, looping my scarf without rescuing me. "You don't have to decide everything tonight," he murmured. But I already had. We walked to the car, leaving perfection to glow for people who needed it more than I did. Later, at my apartment, I spread old notebooks like evidence across the table. Debates abandoned, articles rewritten by rumor, choices bought and rebranded as favors. Patterns surfaced, excuses didn't. I opened a blank document and typed a title across the top. "Terms for the Life I Choose." Portland greeted me with rain that stitched the morning together. I hauled 2 suitcases up to a narrow walk-up smelling of cedar and fresh paint, then stood in the middle of the unfurnished room and listened to the pipes clatter like faraway applause. I built a bed from a hex key and stubbornness, taped a page to the fridge, "Terms for the Life I Choose," and filled it with plain things that felt radical. Pay my own rent, say no without a footnote, answer only to work I believe in. At the Harbor Ledger, the newsroom hummed like a hive. The managing editor, Sanna, shook my hand and handed me a badge. "You're here because you ask better questions than you apologize," she said, walking me past a half wall of clippings. "Start with housing court. Follow the paper trail to the front door." I spent that afternoon learning the rhythm of the docket. Names mispronounced, dates moved, relief granted or denied in minutes that would echo for years. The first thread came from a laundromat bulletin board. A flyer, edges thumb-worn, promising cash for keys today. I called the number, wrote down the voice that answered, polite, hurried, nameless, and then waited outside a brick building where heat tape sagged from the windows. A woman in a navy coat met me on the steps. "I'm Alana," she said, eyes scanning the street. "They told us the renovations would modernize safety. My grandmother's stove hasn't lit since August." She showed me a photo of a lighter held to a burner that stayed dark. I recorded with permission, and when her hands shook, I held the phone steadier. By evening, I had receipts in my pocket and the smell of wet wool in my hair. I ran by the river until my breath caught up to my resolve, then texted Noah, "The job is real. I'm trying to be too." He replied with a photo of his dinner and a heart I couldn't promise to carry gently across state lines. Back in my apartment, I drew a crude map of connections on butcher paper. Flyers to Shell LLCs, LLCs to 2 notary stamps repeating like wallpaper. I circled the pattern and underlined tomorrow. By morning, the map on my wall looks like a nervous system. I follow one thread to the county archive, where a clerk slides me a box of notarized forms. Dates stack wrong. The same stamp recurs with a commission that expired last spring. I photograph everything and call Sana. "You have it," she says. "Now we need people." At Alana's building, tenants lend me their afternoons. A florist forced out mid-season, a line cook sleeping in his car, an after-school tutor filing receipts into a sandwich bag. I don't flatten them into symbols. I ask permission to use names. Some say yes, others no. I honor both. We publish Wednesday night. By Thursday noon, tips flood our inbox. Friday, a paralegal from the developer's firm messages from a burner. Hawthorne Bridge, noon. It's theatrical, but the folder she brings isn't. An internal grid of addresses, just cause notices filled out in advance, and the faulty notary schedule. They call these typos, she whispers. They're not. Legal signs off. We run the series. Documents, lived stakes, a glossary for court. The Attorney General opens an inquiry. The city freezes reclassification, notices pending audit. Space heaters give way to actual heat. Outside the courthouse, my phone rings. It's Margot. You've put our name in a paper, she says. I put my name on my life, I answer. Silence, then. Your father worries. I know, I'm okay. That night, I text Noah a photo of the river. I'm staying, I write, not because it's easy, because it's right. He replies, proud of you, we'll see what we are. I pin my list to the fridge and add a final line. Keep choosing.